team member Aaron Glenn, private personal consultant. Also advocate for mental health awareness as well. And I like to put positive vibes out into the universe. By doing so, I come with a positive word for each day of the year, reading from my book of inspiration, written by Sarah Young, called Enjoying Peace in His Presence, Jesus Calling. And this is the inspirational word for today of December the 16th, 2025. I am speaking in the depths of your being. Be still so that you can hear my voice. I speak in the language of love. My words fill you with life and peace, joy and hope. I desire to talk with all of my children, but many are too busy to listen. The work ethic has been tied up in knots. They submit wholeheartedly to this taskmaster, wondering why they feel so distant from me. Living close to me requires making your first thought, your first love, your highest priority is me. As you seek my presence above all else, you'll experience peace and joy in full measure. I am also blessed when you make me first in your life. While you journey through life, my presence, my glory brightens the world around you. That was a really nice word inspired from the book of Isaiah, chapter 50, verse 4, the book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 4, and also, last but never the least, the book of Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 2. This is the word for December the 16th, 2025. Felice Marcoles, happy Wednesday. Peace and blessings. Come on to there. How's it going? Also, feels like just left the weekend, getting ready for the weekend. My days are pretty much off. My circadian rhythm is kind of off balance. Nighttime is daytime, daytime is night, and vice versa. Energy is just all off. Took a little time just to reflect. I love to do that from time to time. Just thanking God for where I am and where I've been and where I'm on my way to. The title is A Visit to Hell. You know, this sounds really crazy, right? A lot of people, I heard this before from time to time, rappers, actors, entertainers. They say, well, they have said, when they die, they might as well be high. I've heard that a lot of times. I've seen movies where they portray that image happening, whatever, right? But I'm here to tell you guys that that's not the way to go. Being sober is a challenge. Being sober is a virtue. It's something to strive for. I want to share an experience I had. It's something that happens twice actually, in which one I believe he made good on, where he's trying to make good on his promise. One day I met this guy, this old white guy, old man. He was downtown Galesburg, Illinois. I was selling drugs at the time. I just picked up a package. I'm finna go do what I do with it. You know, I'm on a mission from one point to the next point. I'm trying to get to where I'm going to go do what I'm finna do. But on my way there, stopped to talk to this older white lady, leaving a antique shop. I had this Isadora diamond I got from my late great sister Angela. It was a snow globe with a mirror at the bottom. It was pretty nice, and it said Huntsville and the inside. I'm not sure where it is at this moment, but it was something that was given to me, and I think I was going to pawn it or something. I wanted to check out some history on it. I never seen this thing before, and it was interesting. Anyway, the store was closing. I didn't get to get information like I wanted, but as I was leaving, a white lady, older white lady, we talked for a bit, and she warned me. She was like, I was like 19 years old, maybe around that age, late teen, but she was like, "This not a good spot for you to be around this time of night," or you know what I'm talking about, right? Basically saying that these people are racist and this ain't where you need to be right now. Make it home safe. You should be heading home. All right, bet. Young and ambitious and arrogant, you know, I didn't think too much of anything about safety or nothing. I'm thinking that she like, oh, some racist white man in town or whatever, right? I could tell already because where I'm at. Usually, you don't see a lot of people of your color. You're usually in the wrong neighborhood, or usually that's just where you at. You know, it's just predominantly white. Anyway, so I'm leaving to go home. I leave out the door. We was in the doorway talking. She left. We parted ways. She hopped in her car, dipped off. So I'm walking towards where I'm finna go. And this white man come out of the cut with something in his hand trying to give it to me, and I'm like, nah, I'm cool, because I'm thinking like, if I accept anything from a white man around here at this time of night, it's gonna look like I'm robbing him or something like that. My spirit wasn't right. It was telling me don't accept nothing from this guy, don't even engage with him. But whatever, right? We're at that point. It's too late. And I reject his offering. So he was like, he get really, really mad. He go from blue eyes to red eyes instantly. He's like, you know who I am? I'm the devil, and you gonna see this face when I send you to hell. And he was like furious. And I'm like, whoa. At first I was scared because I'm like, I never seen nobody get heated like this. Like so mad right away, eyes turning red or whatever, right? It's getting dark and gloomy around. I'm like, whoa, this weird. But it's happening. And I'm like, whatever. I wasn't so much spiritual at this time, but I'm always spiritually in tuned and aware, and I've been baptized as long as I can remember. I always been protected with the Holy Spirit. So in my mind and my spirit was like, this is not of God. And if it is the devil, I rebuke you right now because you don't have power over my life. Your words have no power over me at all. And I instantly got angry. I was like, I should beat his A because I feeling like this some type of racial conflict right here, right now. And if I was to act, I probably would have got myself in trouble, going into it with this man, fighting with this man because of some racial slurs or however, right? I was emotionally intelligent enough to know that I don't have to react or respond to the emotional damage that's being done, but whatever, right? Fast forward years later, if this never happened to you, I hope it doesn't. But this is something I experienced chasing a high, getting high off weed. Weed, right? You'll think it's not nothing, but it's a gateway to other drugs. I've heard this a long time ago, and I believe it to this day now to be true. But anyway, I get so high, I'm like, whoa, I need to pray for a bit because I'm feeling uneasy. Like, this ain't how I really want to feel. So I pray. I'm on my knees praying, and all of a sudden I feel like if I lean forward or if I lean backwards, I'm on a plank and I could just fall into the pits to the depth, going to fall face forward or fall backwards. And it was like the weirdest thing, because you get on your knees to pray, you feel like you're on solid ground. But nevertheless, it was like I'm balancing on a plank on my knees, and I'm like, whoa, Lord, like this crazy. I know I ain't that blow, but maybe I am. But what I'm experiencing is not what I want to experience, and I just keep praying and praying and praying until everything seems normal. So I'm like, all right, that was weird. So then another time, right, just as normal as can be, you high, you experience what you experience. And then all of a sudden, it's just like I just get super high, like to the max, like just out of the blue, like way too high, just random. And it's to the point where I feel like I'm about to have a heart attack, a panic attack, way more than a panic attack, because I'm feeling like my conscience is leaving my body. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and all this happened in the blink of an eye, from normal to extreme. And it's like I'm feeling my heart pump really, really hard, and at the same time, I'm feeling I'm losing breath, and I'm conscious of being conscious of that I'm outside of my body, but not all the way. Kind of like if you pull a dog by the back of his neck and he's hanging like that. Imagine if that's you, but your spirit is being tugged from your body, and you can feel your head outside of your body and stuff like that. And you can still feel your heart pounding really hard, and you can also feel as you're being tugged, your breath. You can find it that your breath is being gone, like you only have a little bit of breath left, and if you don't calm yourself, or if you don't, get a hold of this, you're just gonna lose your breath. You're gonna die right here, right now. You're gonna drop dead. This may be a heart attack. It may be whatever it may be, but this is the closest thing that I could think of what it probably possibly was. So it's like you don't have much time to think about a lot because you feel like you're about to die. You're like, well, if I do die, is this how I want to go out? Or who do you start thinking about this type of stuff because this is what your next reality is going to be like. So you think about whatever you think about, like who am I leaving behind? Is this my moment? What have I been doing all my life? You think about like what am I leaving behind? What am I going into? And then you think about like, do I fight this or do I just go with this? Oh, well, trying to breathe and trying to figure it out, but being conscious that this is what's going on. And also at the same time, I've heard people say the air gets thick. I never really knew what they meant by that. until this time where pillows or a cover or some cushion is like you can feel it. You know that it's something, but you can't see it. But what you do feel is terror and like uh it's like fear, like fear and presence. It just comes in and you feel it surround the whole room, and then you feel it actually coming in from wherever direction it's coming, but you still can't see it. And that's when you realize, like, oh, okay, this is a spiritual thing. And the spiritual thing has the power to take my life right now if it wants. You can die with these experiences. Some people die in their sleep because these experiences is so much for them to handle. They're not sure what's going on. So once you realize that, you're like, okay, if you do die, then you're finna be whatever this thing is with this thing because you're now in the realm with this thing. And this thing is just fear in the flesh, but you can't see it. And you know that it's around because the energy, like it's hovering over you. And whatever had you pulled up like this, you know that like, oh, okay, this has the power to do that. And it's pulling me out of my body, basically finna snatch my soul, and we finna be in this realm together. And it's just like so much terror, right? Like you will think you're not afraid. You'll think you will not want to see what you're about to see. You just like it's so scary, right? Don't know what to do. You not it can prepare you for something like this. For people who die instantly, I'm pretty sure that this is what happened with them, and they was just so scared they just couldn't get out of being scared. Like with the Pope, so when he died, his face looked like he seen something. I believe this is that same something that comes and grips soul. Maybe it's the Grim Reaper, maybe it's whoever, whatever. I don't know, but it's real. And the thing about it is, if you have no spiritual protection, these things can just take you with them. One thing about it is, I learned from my spiritual practices not to be living in fear. So no matter what, no matter how scary these things are, I have the power, I have the power to not be afraid. And once you start moving and living in power, then that's when you break free. So it was like for a little minute, we having a spiritual battle because again, you can't move, can't breathe, and this thing is actually doing what it's doing, and it's in there now. Like you're in this presence, and it's between you and this thing. You have to call on the Lord. You have to do what you know. Either fight with scripture, fight with song. You have to use whatever spiritual powers that you know you could have available to you that you can tap into. So it's like I'm battling this thing with all my power, with all my might, and I finally break free, and I'm finally, all in this reality. I'm aware of what I'm aware of. And it's like, well, damn, like that's a real spiritual, physical attack. You can die twice within that moment. And the only thing I think of was like, man, I wish I was sober. I need to be sober because I'm vibrating really low right now. And this is what's here in this vibration. This is what's vibrating low. Like whenever I want to vibrate this low, this is what I'm opening myself up to. And I'm like, well, damn, if I was sober, I'd be more in control of my mind. But right now, this thing has my mind and it's pulling me out of my presence. It's something like when an angel pull you up. The whole thing is you're going all the way up at once. It's not a forced tug. And at the same time, it's like you can breathe in this realm. It's not where your body and your spirit is fighting to be in units where you can breathe and move and stuff like that, right? It's like you're consciously here, but you physically still trying to breathe in this body. And you can't do both. You have to transition. And this isn't a transition that you just want to go. Like if you astral project, you're going willingly all body and spirit. This isn't your spirit being pulled out, your conscious being pulled out, your body is still feeling this fight to survive. Your heart's pumping so fast because you're all a part of one. But you can't breathe because your spirit is in here and it's allowing you to breathe and function these the heart, spirit, the lungs and all of that, right? But when an angel pull you up, you up. Like I remember Angel did this and I had that experience, my whole body and everything was up. I was breathing, everything was good, straight. And then when it did come, I felt the presence like I felt with this presence, but this presence was telling me like ain't nothing to be afraid of. Like, you good. I'm not gonna do shit to you. And then when he came around, he was all light. But with this other one, like, it's just straight darkness, no nothing. You can't see it, and you feel exactly what it's about. It's like fear in the flesh. Like, this is something to be afraid of, and it's very, very scary. Very, very. The only thing I think of is like, man, this must be the dude. Like, if I was to die, then I'd probably be going with this guy, and it's probably straight to hell. And usually you'll think like, if I go to hell, I'm finna turn up. No, you're not. You're finna be under control. You finna be basically fearful because this is the realm. Like, you have no power, you have no control, and when you open yourself up to this stuff, this is what you allow yourself to be controlled by, right? You have no power, you have no mental control. It's like, man, I'm stuck in a low vibration, and I can't unget my mental from like this. It was just the craziest thing. It was like, damn, I don't want to die high. I don't want to ever experience nothing like that. Where I don't have my own free will because I open myself up to a lower vibration, and this is what vibrates within that frequency. But check this out, though. This is a testimony from a guy who had a similar experience, but he went all the way. He didn't have no choice. The feeling, he was snatched up and he was gone. For me, I wasn't snatched up, trying to snatch me, but I wasn't gone. But this is very, very strong and very, very, very,
Hello,
very.
Ms. Ellison, and what I'm about to share isn't fiction years ever could. What I saw changed everything I believed about destiny, mark activation, coming in 2025. If you've ever felt like you're different, mark chosen, this story is for you. And for those who carry the M mark on their hand, download the special ebook in the description. It holds truths about your 2026 path. It was just another Wednesday, cold morning, but that keys in the that day felt off. My phone kept glitching, and every time I glanced at my pupils looked slightly brighter. I laughed it off. May I need more sleep, I muttered. But deep down, I knew something was brewing. My weight falling without work. Rain started without warning. Sunlight so shimmered like liquid glass. Suddenly, a blinding white flash, not from the eye, but from my dashboard. My car screen lit up with a strange letter M. Glowed. I blinked. What on earth? I whispered. But before I could reload, I didn't crash. I didn't faint. I simply paused. Time folded like paper. Voices echoed. Familiar yet ancient. Noah once said, "Are you ready?" Ready for it? I asked, though I couldn't feel my mouth moving. Or remembrance, it replied. The sitting either. Just awareness. Bright, still. The last thing I sing into the light. And then silence. It wasn't scary. It was peaceful. Like exhaling after holding your breath for years. And in that stillness, I knew when awareness returned, I was standing in a that looked like dawn had just been invented. Everything glowed softly, like candlelight through fog. I remember whispering, "Where am I?" A voice answered, calm and familiar. You've stepped between, walking, more like light forming itself into a person. He smiled. You carried the mark long before you saw it. I asked. He nodded gently. It's not a symbol of fear. It's a signal, a reminder that your spirit was chosen to awaken early. I didn't understand, so I said it. To guide others when the pulse begins. Pulse? You'll see, he said, pointing toward the horizon where
I don't know why my shit be cutting off like that. It's getting good though, ain't it? Talk about the the mark. Got the M on your hand. This is what we left off at. Let's talk about that's a sign and a signal for those star children, star seeds, enlightened ones who's supposed to be doing spiritual work out here, waking our people up. That's what that was about. That talking about. Finna get back into it though. I hope that it won't have any more interruptions.
activates, many will await, but only those anchored in love will hold the frequency. I felt tears form, though I had eyes. And because you asked the question no one else did, what if there's more to being than surviving? And just like that strange nudge, every dream, it was all leading here. I remember feeling like a small light in a vast ocean of intelligence. It wasn't emptiness, it was awareness. Everything pulsed alive. Then came a sound, low and deep, like the earth humming beneath. The air shimmered, not in the way paintings show him, but in understanding. His eyes held every answer I didn't know I needed. I couldn't speak. I just thought, am I dead? He smiled, almost amused, trembling. You see how connected everything is? He asked. Energy never stops, but you know how to feel it. Is this about the M mark? I asked. He nodded slowly. Yes. The mark on their hand is not of ownership. It's of bridges between worlds. A sudden warmth moved through me, like light breathing inside my chest. I whispered, so the chosen ones, they're real? Yes, he said, but not as people think. And in that moment, I realized he wasn't warning me. He was preparing me. Come, Jesus said. The word silence sounded alive. The moment he spoke, the world around me dimmed. Not in darkness, but I could hear nothing and everything at once. Vibration of thoughts, the heartbeat of stars. Even we stood before a vast field of light, like a map of human consciousness. Millions of threads, others flickered weakly. This, he said, is Earth's mind. Why are some fading, placed stillness? Distraction has replaced devotion. He looked at me, his gaze tender but alignment. Before 2025 arrives, the chosen must learn to quiet the world inside them. Only
We
then
always spend time putting out the vibes, reading from our daily book of inspiration. This is enjoying peace in His presence. Jesus calling us to do this. This is how we get to know His mind, learning His scripture. Each word is inspired from the book of a book from the Bible. Your longing for heaven is good because it is an extension of your yearning for me. The hope of heaven is meant to strengthen and encourage you, filling you with wondrous joy. Many Christians have misunderstood this word hope, believing that it denotes wishful thinking. Nothing could be farther from the truth. And as soon as I become your Savior, heaven become your ultimate destination. The phrase hope of heaven highlights the benefits you can enjoy even while remaining on earth. This hope keeps you spiritually alive during dark times of adversity. It brightens your path and highlights your awareness of my presence. My desire is that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. And this was inspired from the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 23 through 25, and chapter 15 of Romans, verse 13. But let's carry on. This is for the readers, the hearers, and the doers of His word, that you may be inspired to continue to let your light shine and not allow this world to dim you, distract you from your mission.
a breath, or something like one. What happens if they don't? They'll mistake the awakening, he said softly, but who listen will remember who they are. I felt weightless again, watching where love was practiced, weaker where fear ruled. Then Jesus placed his hand on my chest. You'll go back soon, and when you speak, don't preach, remind. Remind them of what? He smiled. That the mark isn't a warning, it's a whisper. Everything began to fade old. It felt like stepping through warm air that I wasn't walking, more like being gently carried. I turned and saw the field of human consciousness fading behind me. Yes, the colors at all, they were emotions. Love shone like rose gold. Hope glimmered blue. Fear evolved into gray mist. As I drifted forward, a line of light appeared before me, thin, bright, humming softly, pulling at my awareness. What is this? I asked. Jesus' voice echoed behind me, calm and close. Between knowing and becoming, I hesitated. Will I be able to come back? Only if you choose to remember. The light stretched upward like a curtain. I took one step, or thought I did, and suddenly my human identity unraveled like thread, but strangely, I didn't lose myself. I became more. From my life replay, times I'd ignored small nudges, coincidences that I heard whispers praying for guidance. Crossing that invisible line wasn't about leaving Earth, standing it. I realized heaven wasn't far away. It was simply a freak to tune into. And when I crossed fully, I understood what Jesus meant. The chosen ones weren't picked randomly. They were those who kept feeling deep. The place was quiet, but alive. The air shimmered like crystal breath. Every thought created painted light across space. It wasn't empty. It was responsive. I whispered, dreaming. No, came the gentle reply. That sound here wasn't made by speaking. It was formed by intention. When I thought of peace, the air turned gold. When I thought of gratitude, it rained soft blue light. It was heaven was showing me what happens inside the human. Sensed other presences, souls radiant and kind. They didn't talk, felt their joy. Them moved closer, glowing softly. You're from the timeline of 2025, she said without words. I asked. She nodded. It's not a mark of control. It's a marker of ones who carry the symbol physically or spiritually will be reminded of their origin. How will they know? By artists, sensitivity, then compassion, then purpose. As she spoke, waves of light rippled through me, and I understood. Her light folded gently into mine, and I heard a whisper stayed with me. When the noise of the world, those who remember silence will guide the rest home. Suddenly, everything a pure sunlight. I wasn't alone anymore. The brilliance convenient form. Before I could speak, the way it spoke my name, it wasn't sound. It was recognition. It had known me long before I ever existed. Who are you? I asked softly. The light pulsed, and I felt warmth fill me from within. Instantly, I knew it was Jesus, but not as a figure outside of me, even inside the air I breathed. He didn't need to explain. Just being near of everything that never did. I could feel his compassion enough to touch my smallest memory. I've waited for this. For what? You to remember what you are, not what the world told you. Tears streamed down my eyes gently. Light, disguised as flesh. The M mark is simply my reminder printed upon those who agreed to awaken. I asked, why show me all this? Because you'll speak, he speaks softly. Ones will hear even when others don't. The warmth deepened, and I realized I wasn't meant to worship light. I was meant to carry it back. He guided me to what looked like a great expanse of living light, like the ocean made of thought itself. The horizon shimmered with golden waves that hummed with me. We stood, if you can call it standing, at its edge. This, Jesus said, down and saw reflections of earth. Families, storms, laughter, inventions, wars on water. Why are you showing me this? I asked. Because the next activation will rise from within humanity. The M mark is not punishment. It will begin to sense changes in energy. Some will fear it, but fear is light asking to be understood. Why 2025? He turned silver. Because truth needs timing. The collective is almost ready. I know. chosen ones? They are the anchors, he said. They'll remind the world. He placed his hand near my chest, right where I had always felt anxiety. The moment he touched, I didn't know I'd forgotten. He whispered, "When you return, speak not of fear, but of alignment. Activation is love, remembering itself." And as his hand glowed brighter, I knew I wasn't coming back. Jesus lifted his hand, and the horizon opened, being turned, surrounded by floating scrolls made of light. They weren't made of paper. They were alive, pulsing, gentle breathing. "What are these?" I asked. "These are the records of everyone who said yes before they were born." The scrolls unrolled on their own, showing faces. Ordinary people from every corner of the world. Teachers, artists, yet each face shimmered with a faint golden glow shaped like an arms or foreheads. "These," Jesus said, "are my chosen ones. Not chosen for power, but for purpose." I saw one scroll glowing brighter. Rest. My name, Noah Ellison, written in light. Why me? Because your heart never stopped asking questions. He is the seed of revelation. I watched as my scroll opened fully, showing moments from my life. Time recognition. Times I resisted bitterness. Each act like a star. Jesus said softly, "Strengthens the grid of light on earth. This grid will awake 5. The M mark is its signature." He looked at me deeply. "Tell them that their mark is not a warning, it's a calling." Lord, gently. Because humans forget that fear spreads faster than truth. Tattoos, corporate logos, all echoing the same shape. The mark read for centuries. It isn't ownership. It's origin. I tilted my head. Origin. Yes, the M stands for memory. Those who carry it are here to remember their divine design. Suddenly, I saw flashes of people, some praying in silence, others watching the moonlight reflect off their palms. It's time. But what if they're scared? I asked. Tell them this, Jesus loved, trying to return home. The M mark isn't meant to frighten, it's meant to focus. And in that moment, I realized the mark isn't a prophecy of control, it's proof of connect. Looked upward, and the entire realm shifted color, silver turning to gold. "Quietly," he said. "A wave of light, not from the human heart." I saw energy like auroras wrapping around the earth, vivid streams connecting continents. People everywhere suddenly felt something. Teason. Laughter is the activation. It's not destruction, recalibration. The M mark will awaken empathy in millions. Old systems built on greed, awakened, once felt powerless, started creating again, writing, healing, teaching. The world didn't explode, it exhaled. What about those who resist? I asked. They will feel restless, he said, but even resistance is part of awakening. Tell the chosen ones they are not to fear 2005. It is not the end. It is the beginning of coherence between heaven and earth. Then he added, some will feel energy in their hands when they pray. Others will dream vividly. Some will hear songs that seem familiar but are not from this world. These are signs of the activation unfolding. I felt warmth spread through my palms as he spoke. Now
Yeah. If you like this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For the rest.